Okay, now so this is for the Sony clock, and in this video what we're going to be focusing on are the buttons that go around the snooze button on the top. So what I've done is I've opened up the very first part that you made, which is the Sony clock main body. Okay, so I'm back in the main body again, and we're going to be using the main body to add in all the details that we need for the buttons, and then we're going to make the buttons separately and then making them a certain way that we can drop them in afterwards quite easily into this project. So, okay, I'm in this part here. I'm going to right click in here on this. I'm going to go to sketch, I'm going to click the space bar, and I'm going to click normal 2. Now, so looking down top of the clock, up here roughly in the kind of, we'll say this area here, there is altogether 7 buttons that have to be included, most of which are circles. So I'm going to go to sketch, I'm going to go to circle, drop down arrow, make sure I pick up normal circle, and just here, kind of starting around here anywhere, there's no particular measurement yet, just be careful you don't get stuck onto something. Starting here, I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3 circles, and they're the clock, radio and buzzer buttons. So we're just going to get them the right size and in the right place. So I go to smart dimension. Each of them circles have to be dimensioned to be 6 millimeters. So if I click anywhere on that, I change that to 6, and I do that for all 3. And the next thing is to get them all in the right position, and that can be a bit tricky. So what we're going to do to help us is we're going to go back to circle again. I'm going to click the origin, and I'm going to drag out a circle here, just any size, just drag it out too far for the moment. And then on the left hand side immediately make sure you click for construction. Then go to smart dimension, and I want to dimension that circle is all together. So we get a measurement here from the clock. We're going to try 100. So we're going to change that number, whatever comes up, to 100. And that then represents where the center of each of these buttons need to be. So I'm just going to push escape a couple of times on my keyboard. I'm going to go to the first circle, I'm going to click the center so it's attached to my mouse. I'm going to drop it onto that. Do the same with this, drop it onto it. Make sure you don't drop it onto a dot by accident. Make sure you drop it somewhere there's no relationship can happen. Just keep it moving. Just check that you dropped onto it, it's moving. Then we go to smart dimension. We click the center of the first button. We click the origin. And we move our mouse around until we get a width like this. And that width needs to be 10. Then we go to this center, to the next center. We move around our mouse until we get a width. So be careful not kind of slopey ways, that you're exactly a width. And that needs to be a total of 13. And then finally the same for the next one. We click the last one we just worked with. We click this one here, move my mouse around until I get a width again. That has to be 13. That's the first 3 buttons, or 3 holes ready to cut out for buttons. The next one then is kind of made up of a slotted curve. So I'm going to go to the drop down arrow here beside straight slot, and I'm going to pick up a center point arc slot. Going to click the origin. Going to bring a mouse out until I match the 100mm circle from earlier on. So anywhere I like around here. Don't be too close to the first set. Just keep out a bit around here somewhere. Click. Now that's gone wrong on me, so I'm just going to push escape on my keyboard and try again. So that was a mistake on my behalf. So again, drop down arrow, center point slot, click here, kind of keep up around here, even if you keep down here if you want. And then what you're looking at doing is clicking anywhere down here you like, just underneath it, and it'll make up the slot. So I'm going to do that one more time. So drop down arrow, center point arc slot, click the origin, click up around here somewhere, go down a bit, so you have nothing attached to your mouse. Just keep on that 100mm circle, click again, and you'll see then when you move your mouse after the next click, you're starting to create that slot. Now, first thing we're going to do is go to smart dimension. The distance between here and here, we have to move our mouse around to get that distance, which can be tricky, has to be a total of 10. Sorry, it's not 10, that's my mistake. It's 5, so just double click that 10. Okay, might need to escape. This is up there getting all locked up here. So push escape a few times on my keyboard, double click that 10, change to 5. That's fine. It's not 5 either, I was just realizing it should be 6. So I double click that 5, and I change it to 6. Okay. Now, next thing then, again I go to Smart Dimension. The distance between that circle and the end of that slot, so move your mouse around again until you get a width, just like last time. So keep moving until a width pops up. There we go. That needs to be 13 as well. There we go. And then the distance between that slot and this slot here, we move our mouse around, we get this kind of an angle happening. That length needs to be a total of 25. Good. Then go to line, and this is a little bit of judgment that's going to be needed. We're just going to click here in the bottom, going to draw a line across the other side, going to push escape on my keyboard, going to go back to line again, going to keep down here a bit, draw a line across, so to pick up a relationship and try again, go to line again. So you might have to push escape a few times on your keyboard to make sure that you're not catching any relationships, that the line goes where you want it to go. So I've gone from the top down this time. Do the same down here now. Go to the line, anywhere here on top, cross to the other side, line, anywhere here on top, cross to the other side. Now we have to get a few measurements here now for these lines, and this is what can be the most trickiest part of the video, because it might want to try and move itself into different positions. So I'm going to go to Smart Dimension. The distance from that dot, now that can be the hardest thing to pick up, that dot to that dot there has to be a total of 6. So that's the first one done. The distance then between this line and this line has to be a total of 6. And then down here at the bottom, zoom in again, from this point to that point has to be 6. And from this line to that line. Now, it's after moving, there we go, I have it right now. So make sure it's between the lines, not on that side of it. So we're going to try that again one more time. Smart Dimension, between this dot and this dot, again move my mouse around, that has to be 6. Now, we then go to trim, and we're going to trim away this line, and we're going to trim away this line, and if any warning messages come up, just click OK. And then we're going to trim away this line, and we're going to trim away this line. And that's making up the buttons for time set on the clock. That's that done. We click the green tick. Before I go any further, I'm going to right click any of these blue lines, and I'm going to click, trying to find it here now, fully defined sketch. When that's done, just click the green tick, let the computer do its thing, and then click OK if any messages come up. Now there's a few warning messages coming up in this, so we might actually maybe just do without that. So if I can, well, we will leave it there for the moment. The warning messages are actually down here. If I just click these down here and push delete, that usually fixes it straight away. So it's fixed now. Then I'm going to go to circle one last time. I'm going to go over here anywhere I like. I'm going to draw a circle. Going to Smart Dimension, that circle is 6, and just make sure that the center of the circle is on that dotted circle here. The big dot is a circle. And we're going to Smart Dimension that the distance from the center of the last to the center of this, and make sure you're getting the width, so move your mouse around like that. That is a total of 10 for this one. Click the green tick. Okay, so that's that side done. Take your time, you might have to pause and rewind the video a few times to get it absolutely right. On the left hand side then, we have another 3 buttons to make. So we'll go again to circle, just down here. So just don't go to the very bottom, kind of keep up around here with say the southwest of the circle. Going to click a circle like so. I'm going to click another circle up here. And we're going to smart dimension that each of them circles again are 6, and you're going to make sure that each of them circles are on the large dotted circle going around the outside. The distance between the center of that to the center of this, so move your mouse around, you have a distance just like that. That distance is 15 for this one. And then the distance from the origin to this circle here, move your mouse around until you get a width happening like this, is 22. Finally then, we again go to the drop down arrow, we go to center point arc slot, I click the origin, I come out here to the same size circle, I click once, I go up here, maybe up around this direction, somewhere up here, just don't pick up that yellow dot if there is one, click again, and again that's gone wrong, so it's going to push escape, and we're going to try again, click the drop down arrow, center point slot, here, this time we'll start on this side, we'll come down to around here somewhere. Click again, and there it is. That can be the most difficult thing to do. I go to smart dimension, the distance between this dot and this dot, make sure you're on a width, is 6. And then the distance from this dot to this dot, again, move your mouse around until you're in this position, that you're going from width to width. That is a total of 35. And then finally, the distance from here to here, move your mouse around again until you're on a width, is 13. Now, next thing then is I click the green tick. And before I do anything, and this can be the only difficult thing or the only place you can make a mistake, I'm going to zoom back a little bit. I'm going to use my mouse. I'm going to highlight absolutely everything with my mouse that's inside the drawing. And then I'm going to go to my keyboard and I'm going to go Control C for cat. When you have that done, just click the green tick. Then go Features, Extruded Cut. We're going to cut down, so click the drop down arrow here beside direction 1 if it's not open. So we're going to go down there, not 10, we're only going to go down there 2. Click Enter, or click the green tick once, click it twice. And now you have all the sockets cut out for all the buttons. When you have that done, click the Save button up here at the top, and that will update that part file. Then, SolidWorks, File, New, Part, OK. Right-click on the top plane, click Sketch. Click the origin once. Go to your keyboard and go Control V. V for Vixen, we'll say. And the sketch that you copied from the last part will miraculously just appear. Click anywhere you like out here. Go Features, Extrude Boss Base, and we're going to extrude that a total of 2 millimeters. And click the green tick. Might click it again. And now you have all the buttons in the exact right location for putting into your clock. One thing we might try and do is we might try and dome some of these. So I'm going to go to the drop down arrow, going to go to commands, going to type in the word dome, going to go to dome, going to change my dome to 1 on the left hand side. Going to click top of this surface here, and this one, and this one, and that one, and this one. So all of these are all domed. You might need to move your mouse around just to see them. Also this one and this one is domed. And we click the green tick. Okay, so it's saying they must belong to the same body. Now usually there's a way of fixing that. So I'll come back to that in a few minutes. We might have to do one dome at a time actually. That would be the easiest thing to do. So again, search for dome, go into dome. It might be different in different people's laptops. Change from 5 down to 1. We'll click that, click the green tick, and then we'll just keep repeating that process then until we have all of the buttons domed. Now, I'm not going to waste time in the video doing that, but you need to dome this, and this to a height of 1. This one, however, is different. This has a switch handle on it that we have to include. So I'm just going to right click anywhere on the top of that. I go sketch, I hit the space bar, I click normal 2. I'm going to go to sketch. I'm going to go to the drop down arrow beside this, and I'm going to go to center rectangle. Roughly in the middle, it doesn't have to be exactly in the middle. Roughly in the middle of this, draw a rectangle going right across like that. Push escape on your keyboard. You can then catch the outside of this and just bring it over. That's fairly close. It doesn't actually go onto the edge, and there's no real way of measuring it. It's quite close, so about there somewhere. Same with this one, just bring it over a bit. Click it. That's plenty good. It's kind of in the middle. That's absolutely fine. There's no need for any measurements. I go, it should be around that width. If you do want measurements on it, I'll put measurement onto it. It might be easier. We'll have that rectangle. It's a total width of 5.2. That its width this way is 1.7. And the center of this to the origin is altogether, we'll say 47. I should have left it at 47.5 when I started. There we go. And then again, from the center of this to the origin this way, we're going to put that in at 10. I then go features, extrude boss base, and we're going to extrude that a total of 7. No, sorry, not 7. I'm reading that wrong off my drawing. It should be a total of 4. I then go to fillet. Make sure I change the number fillet here to 2. Click this edge here. Click this edge here. Click the green tick. So that's the switch done. And the last thing to do then is just to apply a light fillet onto the top of this switch. So I go to fillet. I change from 2 to 0.5. I click this edge here and it'll update all around. And I click the green tick. So when you have all these domed and that done, that's all the buttons made for the clock. I go File, Save As, and we're going to call this, I think it's part number 6, Sony Clock buttons. And I click Save. And make sure you're saving that into your folder, email it to yourself and onto the USB key for safekeeping. Okay, that's the end of that video. Thanks very much.